Hello guys, so welcome to this week's Spotlight Stories, where in this week's episode we'll be looking into bombs. Yeah, bombs. You heard that right, because it's crazy to think that out of nowhere, midweek, a 500 kilo bomb has just happened to be discovered in someone's backyard, and to think that World War II era bomb has been safely detonated at sea after one of the largest peacetime evacuations in UK history. And just to bear in mind, Plymouth City Council has said that around 1,219 properties had been evacuated and an estimated around 3,250 people displaced. That is crazy. Bearing in mind there would have been like a perimeter that they would have drawn as well, like a specific radius, right? Or a circumference they would have drawn, right? From the point of them discovering the bomb. And to think that, well, everybody within that specific area would have been strongly advised to leave while they had safely removed the bomb out. Now, Viyash, could you just give us a bit of a background insight as to what are the specifics behind this? This is crazy to think that something like this has just happened.
Yes, so this was just a couple of days ago that this article came out from the BBC, and a 500 kg German World War II bomb was found in the back of a garden, at the back of a garden in a house in Plymouth. And this is not, your usual kind of grenade or hand bomb.
Exactly.
This is a 500 kg German World War II bomb. The specifics of its explosion radius and all of that things we have tried to find out, but we haven't been able to find out the specifics of that for obvious reasons. Anyway, this happened. I think it was on a Tuesday, or close to a Tuesday, and when the police were informed and the army obviously got involved, they gave everyone 4 days. They told people to evacuate immediately for about 4 days. Although I'm not sure if they went up to them and said, okay, you'll be away for a couple days or not. I'm sure they would have said something along the lines of, okay, we need you to evacuate for at least a week or 2 weeks. Now, personally, if someone had come up to me and said, in the next few hours, you need to go, you need to leave for a week, you need to pack stuff, essentials for 1 week, 2 weeks, find somewhere to stay, and then you can come back when we tell you it's safe. Now, although that sounds a bit unreasonable and very hectic at the time, because A, I wouldn't know what to pack, and B, I wouldn't know where to go, I see why they have done it. I mean, obviously anyone would see why they have done it. It's because there's a bomb in the back of someone's garden. So, Joseph, my question to you, to make this to get your opinion and to get a view into this. If you were told that you need to leave your house in the next couple of days, in the next couple hours for a couple weeks, what would you pack? And B, what would your initial reaction be?
Okay, you kind of put me on the spot here, Viyash. To think that you've just kind of asked this question without us scripting it beforehand kind of caught me off guard. But you know what? Nonetheless, let's just go with it. All right. I'm going to try come up with a couple of things from the top of my head. First of all,
that's the whole. No. That's the whole point of it, because they had no warning whatsoever. They weren't prepared. So it's the exact same scenario in that sense.
Exactly. I like the position that you just put me in, Viyash. Love it. All right. First of all, a pen, because what am I to do without a pen while I have university study? Next thing. Okay, I'm just looking around me, just some basic necessities. Phone, laptop, chargers, boom, bare necessity. As well as that, I'd say a portable charger as well. Other things that I would like to mention, honorable mentions, would be towards maybe a pillow. You know, I don't know where it is that I'll be staying. I'd be taking a pillow with me, maybe a couple bog rolls. I don't know where it is that I'll be, again, where it is that I'm staying. Still looking around right now. Ooh, you know what? A bit of a weird one, a kettle. I do like myself a cup of tea, a brew, but, being proper serious about this now, I would like to take some microwavable rice bags with me, some quick ready-made meals, something I can just whip up on the spot. Of course I'm going to be famished, I'm going to be hungry. There would be other things that I would like to take, but realistically, I want to take my tech with me at the very least. So just to make the answer short, sweet, and simple, take my tech, phone, laptop, some chargers, and then I'll obviously take my car as well, hopefully, which I'll be getting in a couple of months. But
Now, you, in that situation, you're placed in a good spot because you're living on your own, obviously. So you've just got to worry about yourself in that case. I mean, it might sound a bit
Well, you
belittling,
should
but
not
it's
listen.
true.
No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
No, but I'm trying to say in this scenario, this is the. I'm sure
Yeah.
there weren't any universities in the area. There were more
University
families.
of
So
Plymouth?
I don't think they were evacuated. They're not in the
Well,
area.
they could have had student housing within the specific area. They haven't actually specified it within any of
Maybe.
the articles that we've seen, but there could have been. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, okay, fine.
Students who have-
I'm sure there were instances where someone was living on their own and they had to worry about just themselves. Okay,
Oh,
that's the.
hypothetically, yeah.
They are put in a better situation than those who have to worry about an entire family, because they have to
Oh,
worry about the
interesting.
bare necessities, but a lot of them. So you've chosen things like a pen and a kettle because those are important to you as a student, right? But as a family, you've
Like
got
how
to
you've
worry
just
about.
chosen those two and then disregarded my phone, my laptop, my portable charger, my
Look,
card. You picked
I
up
know.
the
I'm just.
one.
I mean, you're the one who started off with a pen. I was waiting for you to say clothes, food, all of those stuff. But you started off with a pen, and then you went on to a phone charger. I mean, if your life is at risk, a pen is not the first thing that would have come to my mind. You see what I mean? But I understand where you're coming from.
When you're dressed like a faucet, all right, the drip is 24/7 with me. So I don't think the need for me to take clothes is a must. I'm playing with you guys.
That's why I'm saying you're an anomaly. No, I'm joking.
I'm finished.
No, we're just making light of the situation, but in reality, people would have been very worried and they would not know what to choose. And there was an instance. I mean, this is again not an extreme incident. Well, actually, it is, to be honest. But there was a 90-year-old woman, and she was placed in a situation where she had to leave her cat at home.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told Joseph this at first, I didn't mention the age at first. And when I said a woman had left a cat at home, you said instantly, "Oh, why don't you just take your cat with her?" And then I revealed to you her age. So if you imagine that there's quite a few elderly people living in the area and they're suddenly told to evacuate, they are going to have to sacrifice some of the things that they love for this to happen. Of course, we're all happy that nothing actually happened and that the bomb disposal squad were great at taking care of this. And the whole process was nice and easy. But you have to bear in mind that there obviously would have been some extreme scenarios.
Of course, no, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's like one of those things as well. The immediate onset of the anxiety when you get like an emergency alert on your phone, because I'm pretty sure that that there was an emergency government alert that was sent to the people living in parts of Plymouth to warn that there was a danger to life nearby. Ultimately, the alert came after an unexploded German World War II bomb was found in a garden within Plymouth and was to be transported to sea. And therefore, of course, they would have had to bear in mind the routes of transport and as well as that the point of them discovering the actual bomb. So anybody within the specific radius from all the way from the bomb all the way till the disposal, as in like for them to the harbour and then for them to then take the bomb out forth, they would needed to have taken into account everybody within that harbouring area. And imagine you got an alert like that out of nowhere. It would have caught you off guard as well, right, Yash?
Yes, 100%. And this whole, the whole do you remember when the whole emergency alert thing was released?
I
think it's a good few months now since the whole thing's happened. But I've never actually experienced it. I remember when they said, "Oh, you're going to get a test warning alert message in a couple of days," but I never got mine. I don't think everyone got
getting mine either. I think there's a reason.
I think without this alert, although there might have been alternative methods of letting people in the area know,
of course.
It's a very quick and convenient way to get the message across to the majority of the population, because the majority have phones.
Of course.
So I think now I can see the benefit of why the government have rolled this out. And at the time of this being released, I remember because a lot of radio stations were parodying it, and they were trying to take a light-hearted approach and saying, this is not going to ever be used. We're never going to get ourselves into a situation where this is actually going to be useful. So they were taking the mick out of it almost. But now I can see it's actually important, because without it would have made the process of evacuation much harder.
Exactly. But
now let's talk a bit about Plymouth. Specifically, because I know you went and visited Plymouth. And in this article in this BBC article, they mentioned that during this whole time of uncertainty, there was a strong warlike spirit, I quote, and this was referring to how everyone came together and there was a sudden surge in care for one another.
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, when I went down to Plymouth, I went down there for a placement, a hospital pharmacy placement. I was there for like a week, and although I wasn't funded for it, everything was coming out my own pocket. It was an experience which I could absolutely never forget. It was, it's completely different visiting staying within a coastal town like Plymouth, understanding more and more about, you have the naval base there, and as well as that, you have the Royal Marine Barracks, I believe, is there as well. I believe Plymouth is also known for the fact that they have, it's known mainly for its maritime, heritage and historic, Barbican district with narrow cobbled streets. And that's something I actually cycled down. So I brought my, very rundown bike there. It's like a 10, 12-year-old bike, right? Rusted to the brim. And it was something that I was just going to dash away. But the opportunity to take it down there and actually, freely just cycle around, the ports of Plymouth and actually really take in what Plymouth really has to offer, kind of like opened my eyes. So I kind of like could get that sense and understanding that, everybody kind of knew each other, it's a very close-knit community. And as well as that, even while I was on hospital placement, I had the pleasure and honor of meeting those who had served in the Navy, ex-vets, so it was a very different, experience, something that I have not experienced necessarily before, to go from Oxford University Hospital placement, pharmacy placement, to then Plymouth, to then Exeter. I would say Plymouth was by far the most interesting in that respect, because it's slightly different from, your normal civilian town, I would like to think, landlocked kind of like town, because, to think that you're by the harbour, you kind of want to see what the city really had to offer, not really with respect to maybe healthcare, but how maybe the dynamics kind of shifted once you kind of moved away from like your Oxford or your Exeter, and you're in a sort of like a Plymouth area. So yeah, I kind of waffled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, during you mentioned, or you were getting at the whole communal sense that you felt there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that would have been derived from the fact that these coastal towns during World War II were targeted mainly to stop the shipments and things like that, because a lot of transportation happens on these coastal towns, right? Between 1940 and 1944, more than 50 bombing attacks occurred in the town of Plymouth, in the city of Plymouth, and many of these instances, there would have been many instances where the bomb did not detonate, as with this one. This is a very extreme example. But then it begs the question, why did this 500 kg German World War II bomb not explode when it was released and it hit the ground?
Wow. I would like to think maybe possibly damage to the bomb, like as in like perhaps breaking up on impact or premature destruction of some fuses, maybe some electrical fault in that regard, maybe some technical failure, or even the design flaw. Particularly, with a bomb like, 500 kilo bomb, to think that there must be some flaw of some kind, at that magnitude. You're dealing with a very heavy duty explosive. There are so many parameters that you would need to cover with respect to making sure it's functional in all sorts of different respects. But that's kind of like some of the things that I've come across. Do you have any that you think that might have caused it not to explode?
Well, a former army bomb disposal expert called Kim Hughes said that it could have been a range of reasons, as Joseph said himself, including faulty fusing systems and the way in which the airdrop munition impacted the ground.
Look, to think that a bomb like that was found in someone's backyard, I refuse to believe it was just... it's just so like out of the normal. I just can't get my head around it. Just a normal random Tuesday. On a gloomy Tuesday, you find a 500 kilo bomb. If you don't mind me showing, Viyash, I've got a video up on my tab right now. I can share my screen and show the viewers a clip of BBC News. And then I also want to show the viewers what a bomb explosion detonating looks like under the sea. Is that all right? Well, I was going to show it anyway, so I'm playing. I'll play in VHush. Let me just get that thing up. All right, let's have a look. Share my screen. All right, guys. Okay, let's have a look at this. All right, VHush, you see that? Oh, goodness me, my Wi-Fi. All right, let's play that again. This is someone's backyard, bear in mind. That is crazy. Look at that. Oh my god.
The amount of destruction on the sides.
Yes.
All of the displays. I can't imagine. Because it's such a restricted place as well.
Are those sandbags on that truck right there? Obviously to, conceal the size of the explosion or something.
I assume, yeah, some form of something to restrict. Yeah, muffler, that's the word. Like clay or something of the sort.
Yeah. Well, that is scary. Imagine there's someone who didn't evacuate, and for them to just see a bomb, just like a 500-kilo bomb, just getting convoyed across them.
But the whole thing seems pretty normal. Like, there isn't much of a... I would have thought that the army would be accompanying them, police would be accompanying them, just to highlight the significance of the event. Yeah,
no, of course. But then again, imagine the number of casualties that would have come about if they had accompanied them. As in, like,
that's true.
God forbid something were to happen. Now, guys, what I'm just about to show you is a moment of... Oh, wait. Yes, when... sorry, what was it you were going to say, VH, before I show the viewers?
I was just going to introduce that as well, because there have been, although this might seem very rare, like I said before, there have been many more instances of this occurring where these hidden bombs have been found. I remember just a couple months ago, I think it was at the start of December last year.
Yeah.
There was an instance of this happening in Wales. And funnily enough, the couple who found the bomb in the backyard used to use it regularly to like hit their trowel against it to get rid of all the excess mud. So, and they didn't even realize that it was a bomb until one of the police officers caught an eye of it and brought it up as an issue. And so there's been many instances of this, and there was another one in Denmark that happened a couple months ago, and I believe that's a video that Joseph has where they have gone out to sea and exploded it.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So pretty much, it was a World War II bomb detonated off the coast of Denmark, and as well as this, a World War II era bomb has been detonated in the waters near. I'm gonna absolutely butcher the name, so therefore I'm not gonna end up saying the name. A Danish island to the south of the country. A fisherman immediately notified the authorities after a 130-kilo weapon got caught in his net. What would you have done if you got a 130-kilo bomb and got caught in your net while you were just innocently out fishing, VH? What would you? You'd just be like, oh no, there's a bomb here. What should I do? I'll call up the Coast Guards or something like that. All right?
Yeah, hopefully get a bit of credit and money off of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what? Let's just carry on with this. Yeah, crazy. Credit and money. I like that thinking as well. To be honest, I would have done the same. You know what? Press. Okay, so sappers from the Danish Navy placed the bomb back into the water and attached a 10-kilo explosive charge to it, allowing for a controlled detonation. The explosion occurred 15 meters, around 49 feet below the surface, according to the Defense Department. There is something I also want to touch on after that, once I do show you the video, is maybe the environmental impact that we can kind of see outside of this. And that's a question that I have towards you, VH, once we have a look at this.
The approach that they've taken to dispose of this bomb is actually very simple. Not simple, that's not what I meant to say. Similar to the approach that was taken in the Plymouth example, where it's a similar depth. I think they went to about 14 meter depth, and they got a diver to attach a detonator to it and then exploded it. So this is a very similar video or it's a very similar depiction of what would have been seen in Plymouth.
Very similar, but not necessarily the same. Bearing in mind, the one that was found in Plymouth was 500 kilos, and this is only a measly 130. Okay, to think that what a 500 kilo bomb could possibly ensue, right, as opposed to a 130 kilo bomb of what we're about to see. So let's just have a look and just put it into a bit of context as to how large the bomb possibly could have been. All right, let's have a look now. All right, off the Danish coast. All right, let's have a look. Whoa! Oh,
vertical.
That is crazy. Okay.
This is what, 15 meters.
15 meters down.
So this isn't even the full.
What the less
vertical
ground from your
explosion.
house is what like 4 meters deep or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to think that 15 meters. After I know what like going down 3 meters is like, let alone 15 meters, that's crazy. That is crazy. What kind of impact do you think that would have ensued on the seabed, for
Well,
example?
if I mean, I'd let alone the seabed. If that happened on land, I know that would have caused a lot of destruction. That's only 130.
Yeah,
500 is almost 5 times more. So 5 times more, the damage would have been caused both on the marine life and also theoretically if it happened on land. So to answer your question on the impact it's had on wildlife, this is of course a big issue because there are many instances like this where when we try to solve human problems, if you like, we substitute our solutions for, how do I say it? We substitute our solutions to create further problems for other aspects like wildlife, and this causes a lot of outrage amongst people like environmentalists and whatnot. So I just thought, Joseph, if I could ask you, what is your opinion on this issue? Do you think that they could have done something better? They could have gone about another way to solve this issue?
No, arguably it would have been the best way to get it done in the sea, because imagine if it were to be done anywhere else, you're going to have casualties or people who are going to be obviously at risk of the bomb, exploding. And therefore, if you have the bomb, to explode in a controlled environment, a lot, very deep down, it's going to be very controlled. You're not going to have any casualties. No one's going to be directly affected apart from, you're going to have ecosystem which are going to be affected.
Yeah.
Viyash, I'm sure you're familiar with this biodiversity, right? Of course, you're going to have like disruptions to the food chains, and therefore,
Yes.
it could have maybe, I don't know, could it have slightly a larger impact from that respect?
It does feel, I'm telling you right now, this feels like a biology lesson, but there is, of course, what they teach you in biology with the whole biodiversity thing.
Yeah.
Although this is arguably a much smaller scale to something like deforestation, which is a huge scale and reduces biodiversity. In that, like I said before, the smaller ecosystems within the area of wherever they exploded it would have experienced a decrease in biodiversity. But I think if we bear in mind, if we look at the bigger picture, that, if you like, loss or that problem is much better to, they're better off doing that than letting this bomb explode anywhere else. So like you said, if they didn't do that, then we of course would have been faced with much bigger problems. So it was the right way to go about it. So let's keep it sweet and short, if you like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Would they have been able to explode it anywhere else, realistically though?
I doubt it. I mean, you did mention space, or not space, but somewhere high up.
But is
and that is a possibility, but I guess it would have taken a lot more effort, money,
very resource intensive
time. It would have meant that the people living around who had evacuated would have been kept away for longer, so it would cause more inconvenience for them. Also, it would have been much harder to track and to set a plan as to where the rocket should go, because there's a lot of things orbiting Earth right now. So it would have, like I say, would have required a much more effort, time, and investment into planning the whole process. So I think in that case, choosing the sea as the place to detonate it, much better option.
As well as the risk to reward ratio in that case, of course, would be far more beneficial for them to explode such a bomb in the ocean, as opposed to it being either detonated on land, possible have repercussions there, or even have larger implications for them to be incredibly resource intensive and take the instrument higher up.
Okay,
but apart
great.
from that,
I think we've talked about this very quickly, and it's a nice little short pod. So I'm glad we did. What is this? Spotlight Stories 2? So it's our second one.
Yeah, second one.
Like, I think from this point, I'm hoping that the viewers get a bit of an idea around the whole concept that we've come up with. If there is any more stories that you think we should cover, any niches, any themes that we should cover, just you can let us know, and be sure to listen. You can listen to us on Spotify as well. I'm going to keep plugging that in at the end of every one of these pods, because I want to see some progress there. I don't know, preferably I listen to pods on Spotify rather than watching them on YouTube. But I
Yeah.
understand why that you would want to, because you want to match a face to a voice, which, I mean, it's up to you guys, but Spotify, I guess, is more convenient. But yeah, great. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking with me, Joseph. A very interesting topic, and we'll see you in the
Very
next
interesting.